Hey, vegan freaks, it's show number 84.
Coming to you from high atop their elite fortress of moral superiority, here are your protein-deficient hosts, Bob and Jenna.
Hey, vegan freaks, it's Jenna.
And Bob.
We're back.
Again.
Another week. Yes, we've been good about this so far.
We're trying.
Yes, we are. So we got a lot of good feedback from our previous shows that we had in the last week or two.
Absolutely.
And it's been good. So
yeah. And I want to... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go.
Okay. No, I want to thank everybody for listening and for giving us feedback and getting in touch.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. And today we don't have a whole lot to talk about. Catch up on some voicemails. Talk about some happy meat as usual.
I do have one thing I want to talk... the happy meat issue that we never got to from last time. But on the Thanksgiving show, I wanted to talk about this and somehow I forgot. But, I don't know. For those of you that have co-ops nearby, right? I mean, we have a co-op. A local co-op we go to, and usually I like it because it's not heavy on the happy meat. You know what I mean?
It's usually just in this little tiny section in the freezer.
Yeah, but it's creeping upward very slowly, reaching
is.
its meaty killer tentacles northward into the refrigerated cabinet.
Yeah, and it's annoying because of course they put it right next to the tempeh and.
You should see what I'm doing. Making those tentacles. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, they put it right next to the tempeh and. The bread that I like to buy, and so I have to reach in around it. It's annoying.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. But anyway, there's not that much of it. And it's all frozen. I don't think there's anything fresh, right?
No, there's not.
Okay, so there's not that much happy meat at our co-op, but the week before Thanksgiving, it was particularly bad. Outside there's like a porch out front of the co-op, and on the porch were all these boxes full of turkeys. Now, not just turkeys, but, Vermont, quote unquote, humanely raised turkeys.
Happy meat.
It's free range.
Free range, humanely raised, grain fed, I don't know. Add in all whatever, spoken nicely to before killed. Add in whatever kind of hippie shit you want. That's what was going on with those. And I don't know, it really bothered me. It really bothered me because it was like, the people who are buying these know that these are animals that clearly have suffered, right? They understand. They have some inkling of the idea that the production of their food involves suffering. They just can't see far enough to go, oh, I shouldn't even eat it to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. People who understand that sentient beings shouldn't suffer, they get that far.
Right.
But not far enough to stop eating them.
No, you wouldn't want to do that.
No,
though.
oh my God, that's too radical.
Please, why would you want to do that?
I don't know.
Crazy woman. Jeez.
I know. I'm just one of those crazy, wacky vegans.
You're a crybaby.
Yeah.
You vegan radical, you. No, I think the reason that a lot of people do it is because they really haven't thought it through exactly. I mean, they think animals are there for us to consume, and they don't have any problem with that. They just have a problem with undue amounts of suffering. So I think that's the problem.
Right,
It's
because
like the Peter Singer
we're
issue.
supposed to eat animals, right?
Well, yeah.
It's what we're designed for. It's what God put them here for.
Well, even people who don't believe in God believe,
I know.
in a sense that eating an animal is not. They're like, well, why waste the animal?
Right.
The animal was meant to sacrifice for us. So I don't know. I just find it troubling. It's like implying that because the animal wasn't as tortured as an animal that was raised in kind of a factory farm condition, that it's okay. And it really bothers me because these are people that I think we could make inroads with.
I know, but they seem satisfied to stop at the happy meat part. Indeed, it's really frustrating. I mean, we had that voicemail a show or two back about the woman who has a shelter or a farm sanctuary, and the farm across the road from hers, is a regular farm.
That was more than a show or two ago.
Was it?
A show or two ago?
Okay, a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the cows are happy frolicking around for a little while, but what happens? They all get separated, they get in horrible conditions, and then they're killed horribly.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make it any better.
So that bothers me. On the way home, I was saying about how I was thinking about going to the co-op and just silently handing out literature next time. Just stand in front on the turkey day, on the day that all the dead turkeys arrive, because they call. I mean, it's a list. You have to sign up for these. You can't just go and buy one at the store, right?
You have to order ahead of time.
Yeah, months ahead of time, they're soliciting you to go buy them. And I was thinking that it'd be a really good thing to just go in front of the co-op and hand out literature. Mm-hmm. You don't agree with me, though?
No, I think that would be fine. But yeah, I mean, we will at least put some brochures next to the Happy Bee brochures that they have lying around the store.
We should definitely do that.
Meat. Have you seen that the Oxford word of the year is locavore?
Locavore, I know. I eat locals. I'm a locavore.
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off. I mean, I have no problem with people wanting to eat more locally. That's great.
Does everyone know what a locavore is?
Oh, okay. Someone who tries to eat as much local food as possible.
I think that's fine.
That's great. It's great. I mean, we've even promoted that on our show. You know, if you have a CSA in your area, sign up for it. If you have a local farmer's market, go to it. But what locavore always entails is happy meat.
Happy meat.
Happy meat.
You know, the happy, humanely raised meat that's right from down the street.
I'm going to have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
Not with you, with them, with the locavores, right? I mean, what about local produce? That's cool, but they have to eat local animals too.
Of course.
So I don't know. Next year I am going to go and introduce some cognitive dissonance into the lives of some of these people. And you know, the co-op, I love the co-op. I'm just going to put it on record. I love the co-op. But if there's anywhere in this county that is appropriate to do that at, it's the co-op. They're the guiltiest, whitest liberals on the planet, number one, right? Going into the place, you know. And they're not the kind of people that are going to call the police on me.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get arrested. I'm not going to be asked to leave, probably. I used to be on the board. So what are they going to, you know?
Yeah.
Where I promoted my radical hardline vegan agenda. Yeah, right. So, I don't know. I was bothered by that. I didn't have a chance to talk about it on the show because I forgot before. But it was really bothering me. It was really bothering me because that day we were there were all these people there buying their turkeys, and it was annoying to me. Like it annoyed me because usually they don't go through that much meat.
Even someone who supposedly was a vegetarian. We saw.
Now.
I know.
Now.
Whatever.
Don't. Now.
Anyway.
Be a good kid.
I am.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So Happy Meat at the co-op. It was sad because usually our co-op is pretty decent.
Yeah. But anyway.
I'm glad we have the co-op though, frankly, because living where we live without the co-op would really blow.
Oh God, it makes our lives much more bearable.
It does. It would be possible for us. We don't eat that much like processed food and stuff. It's just they have some of the harder to find ingredients that we like.
They do. So.
You know, like the hippie shit.
Yeah, and things like quinoa and
that's
strange grains that you can't get elsewhere easily.
Stuff like that. So, anyway, enough of my ranting about Happy Meat. You must all be tired of that by now. But anyway, before I forget, let me just pop. I'm going to announce this again later on, but it's a new month. Go vote for us at Podcast Alley.
Yes, December. And we are right now, as we speak, in the top 10.
So keep us there,
Keep us
people.
there.
Okay, we're going to keep moving.
Okay.
Moving on. Just going to drop that right into the show.
Okay.
One of the many ways in which you can support Vegan Free Radio. I guess we should just move into correspondence and things like that, yes?
I think so.
Was there anything else?
No. We have a lot of voicemails to catch up on, and we got one email, and we couldn't get to all the voicemails on this show.
Well, here's the thing about voicemails. We get a bunch, and we very, very much appreciate the bunch that we get, but there are times that we aren't going to be able to get to every single one of them. So we do put them in a queue, we do go through, we do try to get to most of them, but sometimes we just can't hit them all.
Yeah.
So it isn't that we don't appreciate your feedback or anything, it's just that sometimes we can't really, or we'll take one that maybe summarizes an idea that a couple people have put
exactly.
in. So we want everybody to have a say in that way. Yep. Another thing too, though, is that weeks like this where the news is slow, like there's not a lot going on.
No, there isn't.
And my life really, like, I'm just cranking through, busy working. Not many interesting vegan things have happened in my life, except people ask me why I'm vegan. We've had job candidates coming through my department, and I have to go out to eat with these people. And so they often the veganism comes up. So it's kind of funny how some people talk about it. But if you have questions or things or ideas, you should email us. If you see good news stories, you should email us with them, and that will give us things to talk about.
Indeed.
And we'd love to hear from you.
So.
All right. But anyway, moving on. Let's move into an interesting email that we received actually just today. You ready?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is Aaron from Minnesota. Aaron says, "Hey, Bob and Jenna, I've been listening to the podcast for about a year now, and I finally decided I need to write in and tell you what a wonderful show you have. Why, thank you very much. That's pretty cool. I find you both to be highly entertaining and informative, even if I am a meat-eating monster." My God. Yes, I am a meat eater, and I really like your show. How can that be? How can that be?
I don't know.
How can that be? Okay. I don't listen because I'm trying to change my ways. Oh, come on, man. But because I was looking for a better answer as to why some people decide to go without meat. In my idea, now you see, I have to talk to Aaron. Aaron, you and I were going to have a little aside for a second. If you're curious about why some people decide to go without meat, I think that's you being curious about why you could go without meat. An inkling of veganism showing itself in your very own life. Okay. In my dealings with vegans and vegetarians, I have never once heard a compelling argument for their lifestyle choice until I heard your podcast, and I guess that's why I'm writing in. In my experience, being a vegan or vegetarian brings along with it some other kooky baggage like quote-unquote new age ideas and thinking. Do you think this hinders your efforts? I find it hard to take someone serious when they bring out their crystals and want to realign my aura or some shit. It's nice to see some rational thought from what I had always considered a strange segment of the population. Keep up the good work. Well, Aaron.
Well, we are a strange segment of the population. We admit that.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying. I mean, come on. It's like, it's pretty straightforward.
I mean, that's why the podcast is called Vegan Freak, after all.
It is indeed.
Who here can tell Bob what critical thinking means?
And that's what I'm wondering. Who here can tell Bob what critical thinking means? And you know who can't? A lot of the new age weirdos.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, we do agree with you on that.
I do, actually. I really do. Well, before we get into the new age stuff, I want to say to Aaron, if logic is your thing, you need to go back and listen to Gary Francione interviews.
Yes.
And or read Gary Francione's book, right? Aaron, I know where you're coming from. Prior to my going vegan, I was like, that shit is for crazy ass weed smoking. Okay, I wouldn't have modified weed smoking like that. I would have said just crazy ass hippies, right? Because I don't really think there's anything wrong with smoking weed. Anyway, that stuff is for crazy hippies who like have crystals and align their chakras and whatever. But when I read some of the arguments, they were incredibly logical, like thoroughly logical to the core. You didn't need to talk about souls and spirits and vibrational energies and all that fucking crap. You just needed to know the logic of it. And the logic of it is so compelling and so straightforward that I found if I was going to be serious about what I believed, if I was going to be serious about logic, I mean, forget about what I believed, right? It was a question of just really buying the argument and deciding what I was going to do with it. I had no choice but to go vegan.
Indeed.
Taking a breath. Okay. So, that's kind of why I think we need to pay more attention to the logical questions, logical aspects of it. Now, with that said, when I was doing research for my book, Making a Killing, I read this other book called The World Peace Diet, Eating for Spiritual Health and Social Harmony by Will Tuttle, PhD. I read the book because it was recommended to me. People had said, this is a really good book, you should read it. Those people were clearly smoking a lot of marijuana. or crack, or they'd been dropped in their heads when they were children. No, it is a good book in some ways, right? It's a good book insofar as it does a really nice job kind of linking together kind of the aspects of our food choices, right? How the choices we make have concrete effects. I like that aspect of the book. I thought that was done really well and very powerfully. And it's well written, right? That's almost like saying, oh, yeah, he's a nice person. It's like, it was well written. But there was this one part of the book that really just got under my skin and annoyed the shit out of me. And it was just this, like, this is the kind of thing that Aaron is talking about and that I don't like either, okay? And it's in the book, Will Tuttle talks about how the foods that we consume have vibrational energies involved with them. Vibrational energies, okay? And he says here, if we take another look at the egg, bacon, or cheese we are purchasing and eating, we see clearly that it is a living, vibratory embodiment of cruelty, violence, enslavement, terror, and despair. Now, You don't need to talk about vibrational fucking energies to argue that certain foods are embodiments of cruelty. But he adds this hokey layer of vibrational energies to it. You know, it's like, ooh, mystical. And it just becomes fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
It does, because you could say something like, okay, when the animal is killed, there has to be a physiological reaction, because the moment before they're killed, they're, so fearful and shocked and just stunned, and all this horrible stuff is going around. There's got to be some sort of physiological reaction that goes on in their bodies to that,
Absolutely.
I would think. I mean, at that level. And then, so the meat that you're eating is an embodiment of all of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, at a physiological level.
Right, physiological.
Absolutely. I mean, he talks about here, like, the vibrational field of people who are preparing food is a form of prana and can increase or decrease the food's healthy vibration. I mean, like, really? Dude, really? Really? What is this what they're teaching people in PhD programs at Berkeley? Because that's where he has this from. Like, I don't understand. It's like, I got a PhD from Cornell where, like, there are plenty of hokey, fake, weird, crazy people there, right? Who are into the vibrational energy shit. But if I had once said vibrational energy during any aspect of my graduate career, I would have been roundly laughed out of the room. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the problem is with Bob. Maybe I'm too wedded to this reality. Maybe I'm too close-minded to, like, open it up and, like, accept the world powers and the energy, like, flowing into me. But I actually think that stuff like this is hokey, and I think it really, I think it makes us look a little goofy when we have such good arguments that exist for why to avoid animal products. I mean,
that's true.
Arguments that I think are so thoroughly logical, and he actually talks about those arguments in this book, but they're marred by this kind of new age hokey bullshit about vibrational energies, and I just think it's so strange. I don't know. It's like between idiots at PETA who dress up in chicken costumes and stand in front of KFC and the vibrational energies crowd. No wonder the fucking world thinks we're crazy.
Yeah. But I'd like to add, in response to all of this in the email that, vegans are an extremely diverse bunch.
Oh, God, yes.
So you can't just base, all vegan, your perception of all vegans on, the hokey New Age vegans, because they only represent a small segment. In fact, I would say that most New Age hippie types are the happy meat crowd.
I think that's true, too, because I've gotten more of that than the veganism from kind of the New Ager crowd. Like, we need to, like, say a prayer for the animal, like say joyous things to it, and like, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
I've gotten more of that from them rather than we should just avoid it altogether. I guess people out there probably are saying, Bob, who gives a shit why someone goes vegan? If they go vegan because they think it's vibrational energies, or because, aliens from fucking Zeta Reticuli told them to go vegan, great, they went vegan. They're not eating more fucking animals. But I actually think that the individual impacts of veganism are important, but limited. And I think it's about building a movement, right? The important part of veganism, I think, is about building a collective sense of what it means to resist animal exploitation, not necessarily about that kind of individualized act. And what I mean to say is that the individual stuff really, really matters, but that any single vegan on their own is only making a tiny difference. Where it comes in is buying into that kind of larger conception. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't want to be mistaken for saying veganism doesn't matter.
Right.
Because it's one of the things, obviously, that I'm quite devoted to.
Obviously. Yeah, but it's, the additive effect.
Exactly.
Of course.
And it's a social thing, too. I mean, if you look at the literature on social movements over who knows how long a time span, decades, right? A lot of literature on social movements actually argues that social movements make some of their biggest impacts in changing cultural perceptions. So a lot of social movements are looked at as really failing in a way, because they don't make the kind of physical or economic impacts that they're hoping to make in the world, but they slowly change conceptions that societies have of things, and usually of oppressed groups. So that's why I think that building a social movement is the primary thing we need to be doing.
I agree.
So while I guess would I accept the vibrational energy people under the umbrella of the social movement? I'm sure I would. I mean, I actually, if truth be told, there's more in this book that I agree with than I disagree with. I mean, I think it's actually a fairly powerful book, and for some people it is.
Yeah. Well, I think any reason that makes you go vegan and stay vegan is a good reason.
What about racism? Or I'm just kidding. What about purity? You know, someone who's like, my body is a temple. They don't really care about animals. Like, my body is a temple, and into my body, no polluting chemicals shall enter, including animals. I mean, it's a personal purity issue. That you think that's a good reason?
I don't know, because then you go down the slippery slope of where do you stop? Because it is impossible for anybody to be 100% vegan unless you're dead.
Yeah, of course.
And in which case you're not, you're a dead activist is not a good activist.
It depends on who the activist is.
Anyway, so yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of people that go vegan for the wrong reasons. They go vegan because they, if they're not into it, or they go vegan because they think it'll make somebody else happy, then they're not going vegan for the right reasons.
Yeah,
They're going reasons because it makes sense to them, and it's something that they want to commit to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Okay.
It's good for us to have a back and forth, though. We don't have to agree on every single issue. We're not Bob and Jenna.
No, of course not.
We're Bob and Jenna.
Yes, we are.
Actually, we're even Jenna and Bob.
Sometimes.
We should be Jenna and Bob.
Yeah. Well, see, it's a matter of prosody, which sounds better.
Yeah, I know.
Bob and Jenna or Jenna and Bob. I think Bob and Jenna sounds good, and that's why we say it like that a lot of times.
I think so, too, but I also think that for reasons of male dominance and patriarchy, it should probably be Jenna and Bob.
Okay, well then. Jenna and Bob it is for a little while.
For a little while, but then we have this.
Bob, Jenna, woo!
See, I think what you said about prosody. Prosody?
Uh-huh.
Is that the right word?
Yes.
Wow. Such a big fucking word. See, you always learn something on Vegan Freak
There
Radio.
you go.
That's why that... See, if this were... Okay, listen.
Bob, Jenna, woo!
Would that be good as Jenna, and Bob? Oh, God.
No, it
I can't
doesn't sound
sing.
right. No.
Sorry.
No, you can't.
My brother's even worse, believe it or not. I apologize. I have never tried to sing in any way, shape, or form, as you can just have heard. So, anyway, Aaron, enough about me making fun of the people who have chosen not to eat meat for vibrational energies. And now I'm going to talk about you because you're eating meat and you need not to be eating meat. We need to get you to stop. Tell us. I always do this, but
I know.
What can we do to get you into veganism today? What can we do, Aaron? Send us an email. His email address is the best. I'm not going to give you the whole thing, but the beginning part is Saint Fatman.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Tell us, though, Aaron, what can we do to get you into veganism? Frankly, be completely honest with us. We want to get you there, though. We'll talk you into it.
What keeps you eating meat right now?
I don't know.
What keeps you from being vegan?
What I read in this email is a conflicted person who has interest in the ideas, but who is putting off coming to terms with them. Perhaps I'm wrong, but perhaps I'm not.
We'll see.
Dun dun dun. Okay, moving on. What are we going to do next?
Voicemails.
Time once again for some vegan freak voicemail. Maybe we'll hear from a hot chick
or a choice male.
Callers make us happy and help us keep our sanity, even if all they wanna do is fucking complain about the shitload of profanity.
Hey freaks, my name is Dave. I'm 34, going on 35 next month, from the Buffalo, Niagara Falls area in New York. Not too far from you guys, actually.
Can I just say, everybody, when we say we're from upstate New York, everybody's like, oh, Buffalo. I'm like, no.
We're 5 hours from Buffalo.
We're not in Buffalo. Apparently, for people who don't know New York is like this. New York City and Buffalo. That's like the bottom part of the state. The rest of the state, all north of there, is like, oh, who needs that? Fucking Adirondacks all the way up there. Who needs that shit? Fuck it. What about us? All the way up north. Way up north. Okay, sorry. Just a pet peeve of mine.
Wanted to call you and leave a message because I want a vegan freak pin. No, just kidding. Yeah, I just listened to your last podcast there, the one you just put out about the no-kill shelters, and great show. And I kind of had a relevant story real quick. My wife and I honeymooned on the U.S. Virgin Island of St. John in 2005. and they have a feral cat population there. And we had no idea until we got there. We saw cats all over the place, and 2/3 of the island is a national park. So we're in town and we're out and about on the roads, and there's just cats everywhere. Not everywhere, but we're constantly seeing them without owners. And we just happened to talk to a couple that was volunteering a feeding station, and I guess the government takes care of all the food and the shelter for the people that want to volunteer some of their property for the feral cat population. And the cats are super friendly, and we thought it was really awesome. So I thought that was kind of a little bit of a relevant story for this last podcast you had. And second, I just wanted to express my discontent for that fuck Andrew Zimmern on the Travel Channel, who hosts that show, that fucked up show called Bizarre Foods. And I can't believe you guys have never brought him up.
We don't watch the Food Channel.
Yeah, I don't
or the
watch
Travel Channel or whatever it was.
We don't watch either of them.
No, we don't watch either.
Well, now I'm going to find one of his shows and watch it. Because then that would be great for us to make fun of.
Yes.
What do you think about that jerk? So that's it. And I guess my last thing is you guys helped me go vegan. I've been vegetarian since I was 17, and since show 67-ish, I've since caught up on all your old ones.
Nice.
And it was strictly you guys since then have helped me go vegan.
Cool, man.
Or more or less convinced me to go vegan. Just wanted to pass along the thank you. Love the show. And I love the music segments. Jenna, you have a hot voice. And okay. Take care, guys.
You.
I'll keep listening. Bye-bye.
Jenna. Whoa. Excellent. Okay, to be clear, Dave, I wasn't busting on you about the upstate New York thing. No. I was just saying that people who don't usually know. Yeah, people don't usually know New York don't know New York.
Yes.
Kind of say that shit. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah, but about the feral cat thing, it's really awesome to see
Go ahead, Jenna.
Because, if people make the commitment to take care of the animals that are there, in the way that works for the island, then it shows it can work. I mean, these cats don't have to be in the homes to be fed and to be taken care of. The government, that's awesome, and made the choice to, spend the money and take care of the animals. That's awesome.
In Nathan's book, he raises the point that we should think of feral cats as wild animals. Mm-hmm. And he said, would any animal rights activist in their right mind go out and propose that we start killing raccoons and possums? No. So why should we go out and kill feral cats, which are in every way like wild animals? Mm-hmm. Well, I thought that was a really compelling point. And what it requires is, creative solutions to deal with the issue, not just killing them.
Exactly. So
cool with that. Dave, thank you for listening. I'm glad we got you to go vegan.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. I'll have to check out that guy on the Travel Channel. I'll go back and listen and get the exact name.
Yeah, in fact, we don't watch the Travel Channel, the Food Channel, exactly because of fuckheads like that.
That's true.
Normally, I just get too angry.
Jenna gets really angry. Like, I can sometimes watch it if there's not a lot of gory or graphic depictions of the things that they're killing and eating. Jenna, however, she can't watch anything that annoys her. Fox News, for example.
No.
I can watch it and laugh at it. You, however.
No. And anything with Anthony Bourdain or whatever his name is, no way.
Christian Broadcasting Channel. Oh. I like to watch that because I was watching it. Well, I think I told the show a long time ago that I was watching and there was this guy on there talking about the demons that were possessing him and stuff. And I thought that was really funny, but you found it just plain annoying. So anyway, Dave, cool. Thanks for calling in with that. I think it really lends a lot of interesting dimensions to the arguments that we were talking about on the last show.
Hi, Bob and Jenna. This is Marina calling from Richmond, Virginia. And I just wanted to pass along the good news to you that I actually had a very wonderful vegan Thanksgiving here in Richmond.
Yay!
Because Richmond actually has a vibrant vegan community. And the Vegetarian Society of Richmond puts on an alternative dinner for every American holiday.
That's
Before
cool.
you feel concerned about that they're vegetarian, actually every meal and every potluck that they have is completely vegan, to be fair to everyone. And right now, I'm in the middle of preparing a raw vegan dinner for
Nice.
our raw vegan meetup here in Richmond, which is also very popular and very vibrant. So I just wanted to pass it along to anyone listening in Central Virginia who thinks that they don't have any support and don't know anyone to reach out to. There are two great groups here in Richmond, and they're both in meetup.com. You can look them up and come join us for any of our wonderful potlucks. One of which is coming up on December 8th, I believe, which will be a vegan Christmas or holiday potluck. And there's also going to be a raw one as well. I really love your podcast. It's really inspirational. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks, Marina, and kudos to you for actually getting together and doing a raw vegan dinner.
That's awesome. And for sharing the information in case anyone is out there in Central Virginia who needs to know.
Yeah, I think it's good stuff. I mean, this is important. Vegans do stuff like this. I mean, this on the ground, every single day work of just kind of getting together and creating networks for people so that they don't feel so lonely.
Yeah.
Because you can get really lonely being a vegan sometimes.
You can.
And that's why we keep doing the show.
Indeed.
Partially.
It is.
That and because we help people. I feel like we help people go vegan.
Yeah.
You know, Dave said that. When I hear voicemails like that, I'm like, more shows.
Yeah.
Because if it helps, it helps.
All right.
All right.
Hey, this is Nathan calling from Phoenix, Arizona. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Sweet.
I'm calling you the day after Thanksgiving. So I had Thanksgiving with my grandparents' house. And every year for Thanksgiving, it's always a tricky matter. I don't know if there's going to be any food there for me. I don't know if I should eat before I go or bring my own food. This year, my dad, he said, "No, I'm going to cook. I'm going to cook dinner. I'll make everything for you. Don't worry." You know, I was skeptical going in, not sure what exactly he would consider a vegetable. But I got there, and he made 3 different entrees: a rice vegetable soup, a acorn squash entree, and then a vegetable medley pasta entree. It was
nice.
Awesome. Yeah, and the whole family. I mean, more people ate that than ate turkey that day. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think I converted any people to veganism, but it was a good experience, and it's nice to see that, you know, my family can come through, and like no one said, "Well, what are you going to have?" And everyone was like, "Oh, this is amazing." So, yeah. Anyway, hope you guys are doing good. Bye.
Thanks, Nathan, and thanks for listening. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like you were saying earlier about that. It's all about changing perceptions.
Yeah, man.
So if you perhaps change their perception of vegan food, even for just one day, that's awesome. You know, and it sounds like you had a great time with your family. I mean, I think with our Thanksgiving support show, we sounded a little dire because we were talking to all the people who were really upset about the holiday.
That's true.
And there are a lot of people out there who weren't all upset about the holiday because they were going to have good families who are understanding and who did awesome things for them. And we need to applaud those people and for their support of all the vegans out there. So
absolutely not. I mean, I hope we didn't sound too negative, but you know, a lot of people have a hard go of it, but it's cool that Nathan didn't, and his family is to be very much commended for that.
Definitely.
And I think most families can be brought around to that idea. It just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So, good stuff.
Hey, vegan freaks, it's Mahaya calling from Honolulu, Hawaii. I just wanted to tell you guys my kind of Thanksgiving revolution. Bob was talking on podcast number 80 about showing Earthlings in class, and I went out and got a copy of it, never seen it before, I never heard about it, actually, and sat down to watch it with my kind of omnivore boyfriend who eats, you know, mostly vegan. God only knows what he does outside when he's at work. And after about 20, 30 minutes, you know, we were both in tears, obviously bawling. He had to stop it just because he couldn't take any more at that time. And he actually, with tears in his eyes, turned to me and thanked me for showing this to him. You know, we're avid shoppers at Whole Food, and he was kind of under the veil of happy meat. So now he knows that all meat is unhappy meat, no matter where it comes from. And so we were on the way to his parents' house for Thanksgiving dinner, and he pulled over and told me he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go and sit at a table where people were praising this dead animal in the middle of the table in all of its glory and saying how wonderful it was and delicious. And so we went to his parents' house. We said hi to his family, got the hell out of there before that dead bird showed up on the table and all the other dishes with their various forms of death in them. And came home and had a quiet dinner, a quiet vegan dinner at home, which we cooked ourselves. And we're actually, I think for the first time in a long time, truly thankful of what we have, truly thankful of what we know, and truly thankful of the ability to change things that the way that they're going. So I really think we got another vegan out of this. So I really, really want to thank you guys. This was kind of the last straw for him. I've been trying for a long time to get him to go vegan, and I think we finally did it. So thank you guys so much, and stay vegan, stay freaky.
Awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. I mean, Earthlings is like the Thor's hammer, man. Smash! You know, it really just, it blows it out. So that's awesome that, you know, I mean, it's horrible to watch.
Right.
But what it does is it pulls back the veil. You know, it makes those connections that we don't often make. And that's why it's very powerful.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it was able to get your boyfriend to finally go vegan. Hopefully we can keep him vegan.
Yep.
I think we can.
I think so too, especially because he has your support.
That
true.
Helps. That really does help. And, you know, if he was at the point where he didn't want to go to Thanksgiving, that's a really telling indication of it.
Yeah, because holidays are usually the hardest times to make a stand like that because you don't want to offend your family, you don't want to be the sore thumb sticking out, et cetera, et cetera. So.
But, you know, what was interesting too, in my animal rights class, we've been talking about these issues all semester, and I asked how many people went and ate turkey on Thanksgiving, and a bunch had, a bunch hadn't. Some people said that they had eaten it, but they thought about what was wrong with eating it while they were eating it. I thought that's kind of weird.
It is weird.
But on the other hand, you know, we're trying to overcome, you know, in this case, my students, 20 years of this education in a culture that exists that says that animals are ours to consume. And so, you know, it'll take time. I think I've planted some seeds there.
I think that's what we need to do. And people always think that's a failure, but you have to plant the seeds and things start churning and keep churning.
That's true. That's true.
In the right situations. So.
Well, it's cool that, you know, you planted the seeds for your boyfriend. Earthlings, I think, grew the tree for him. So, cool.
Hi, this is Amy from Indiana, Dingy Residue on the forum.
Dingy Residue.
That's awesome.
2 comments. First of all, I'm not totally full-on vegan yet, and I know that you ask whenever, you know, vegetarians have a problem committing to veganism, you want to know why. You know, what can you do to help us with that transition? And I think that the biggest problem is that my entire household, I have 5 people, including me in my house, my husband, my stepdaughters, my own daughter, and no one else is vegetarian, let alone vegan. I mean, I think the hardest thing is to be included in any type of family dinner is almost impossible. Not to mention the crap I get at work, you know, when people find out that I don't eat meat and have to debate it. I'm sure everybody has come across this. So you know, it's I'm kind of envious because the 2 of you are both vegan, you live together, you know, it's much easier when you share that, you know, but in my situation, it's a little bit harder. You may say I'm whining, but, you know,
I don't think so.
Not at
this is
all.
where I'm at. My second point was totally on a different subject, as far as parenting. I bought my daughter this Bratz Kids. You've seen these hooker Barbie dolls. This Snow Lodge. Okay, I mean, it's bad enough that these dolls look like hookers, but okay, I can deal with that. But I'm picking up some pieces from it tonight, and so I'm picking up the pieces of this set, and I come across a polar bearskin rug. You know, a little plastic toy polar bearskin rug. I'm just totally flipped out. I mean, I could not believe that in this day and age they would include a bearskin rug with as decor. I mean, I flipped out. I wrote the company and I posted a review on Amazon about it, and now I'm calling you about it because I'm just completely shocked and horrified. I mean, I'm throwing the thing away, the bearskin rug. My daughter was like, "Hey, wait a minute, blah 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 blah," but I'm like, this is not the kind of values I want to teach. Just because it's a toy does not mean that you agree with, killing animals for the purpose of decor. Oh, it's disgusting. So anyway, I wanted to share that. Not that, any other parents probably buy their children hooker toys, but in case they do, that's one to watch out for because I would not have bought it if I'd known it. But as to point one, like I said, any support or any advice would be appreciated because I do definitely want to commit to this. It's just such a fight right now in my environment. So thanks for listening, and I really enjoy your podcast. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Amy.
Man, well, let's start off with the politically incorrect toy.
Work backwards.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, especially considering right now, like the whole, resurgence of the environmental movement, and the polar bears are like the thing out there that are like, standing in for, well, the ice caps are melting and the polar bears are suffering and everybody's concerned about this, so it's crazy that they would include that.
Well, I mean, a problematic toy from two aspects.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, it sends the idea that speciesism okay, and secondly, it sends the idea that sexism is okay. Right. So both, I think, are equally troubling. Yeah.
But anyway, on to the first point, that's a tough situation to be in. And you're right, Bob and I are extremely lucky to have each other.
We are.
To live in a vegan household.
But, I don't think it means, one thing you said in there, Amy, is that, it means that it's difficult to have family get-togethers and things like that. I don't think it has to be necessarily.
Right.
I guess it depends on the people around you, right? If they're giving you shit constantly about it, that can get frustrating. But usually that stuff is short-lived. If you deal with it in the right way, often it's short-lived. And so it can tend to be like one of these things that just kind of a dynamic that just evolves, right? You have a family get-together and perhaps there is some kind of meat or other animal product present, but that doesn't mean that you have to have that, right? You can make something for yourself in those situations. And so what becomes important then isn't the food that's defining the situation, but rather the get together, the family, the connections.
Right. The fact that your family is all together is what is important.
Right.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, and I think if you take a really positive attitude towards this, like, hey, I'm a vegan, it's really important to me, and I'm going to show you, look, all these great things that I'm eating, not make a big deal out of it, not talk about, the AR stuff right away.
Sure.
Maybe if they ask you questions about it, then talk about it. But be like, hey, this is really important to me. This is part of what I believe, and show them through your actions that it's so important to you.
I agree. And I think in time it'll probably get easier, but it's important that, if this is how you feel and it's, if this is what you believe, that sounds so dire. If this is what you believe and this is what your ethics are, I think it's important that you stand by them. Even if it creates a little bit of difficulty, I think often that stuff tends to be, I really think it does tend to be short-lived if you can just tough it out for a little while.
Mm-hmm. And I want to put out a call to all those people out there who are in this situation,
sure,
and who are making it work. How do you make it work? And I know it's different for every family, depending on the dynamic. But, give us a call. Send us a voicemail. Send us an email. And I can think of a few examples, and I don't want to call them out, that they should, call in and let us know. Because, you're right. We're not in that situation. And we can give you some advice of what we think might work. But, I want to hear from the people who are making it work.
Yeah, I agree. I that's a really good way to do it. But I don't think you're whining. I mean, it's there's no doubt about it that it's difficult. We recognize that it's hard, and there are no really set solutions. It depends on the context, and it depends on how long it gets people to understand that you're serious about it. And it's a challenge. There's no question about it.
Definitely.
Man, I just feel like we didn't really tell her anything useful.
I know, but it's so hard because without knowing, what the rest of the family is
Sure.
like, are they really picky eaters? Is that part of the problem? Are they, giving you a really hard time about it? Are they complaining about it? Do you just feel left out? Are they making you feel left out?
Yep.
What's the dynamic here? So I don't know. It's rough. But it's cool that you want to make the change, and that's the
Absolutely.
most important step, that you want to make the change. And you don't have to bring everybody along with you, but you maybe perhaps just ask them to respect what you're doing differently.
Sure. And yeah, we should hear from people who do make it work. I know there are people out there listening, like I know that there are too. So, well, Amy, hang in there, and good on you for giving the toy manufacturer shit. And now Jenna has told me that this theme music is appropriate.
Happy Meat.
So why am I playing the Meat Makes You Stupid segment?
Because we got a couple of voicemails about stupid Omni comments.
Hey, Bob and Jenna. This is Martha, Delmar831 on the forums, and I'm calling because I had a very frustrating situation come up that I pretty much need to rant about. I was at dinner, of course, with my niece, and actually two of my nieces, one of which is vegan, the other is not. The one who is not vegan used to be a vegetarian, but now pretty much eats whatever you put in front of her. So anyhow, the niece who is an Omni just so happens to be married to a vegan. And they've been married for about a year now, and she mentioned at the table that she gave her husband a piece of cake that had milk and eggs in it. And she just said, "Here, have this." And, he trusted her, ate it, and then she later told him that it had dairy and eggs in it. Me and my niece were just flipping out. The niece who is vegan, she was like, "What did you do? Oh, my God." And I just was yelling, pretty much telling her, "Oh, my God, he trusted you." And I just felt really, really disappointed and really frustrated in that. I just think it's so cruel that she had done something like that to her own husband. And her excuse was that he needs to not be vegan anymore because it's not good for him. And unfortunately, her husband also is to blame because now he's slowly eating dairy products. So, I'm pretty disappointed in him as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, just thought I'd rant about that disappointment that happened and how fucked up people can be when, you think you can trust them and then all of a sudden they try to pull a little switcheroo like that. So hopefully I'll be calling you with a better story next time, a happier one.
Oh, man. You know what eating dairy products is, don't you?
What?
Not vegan.
Definitely not.
Not vegan.
And so does this guy still go around calling himself vegan? Probably.
That's really cruel.
No shit.
And his wife may not get it, the guy who was fed the cake.
Yeah.
But that's still kind of a mean thing to do to someone who feels a certain way about something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to decide that it's better for him to eat dairy, why don't you let him decide for himself?
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Bad situation there. Bad situation.
Yeah,
I'm looking
man.
for a sound effect to somehow get my feelings across, but there just aren't any. Yeah, I mean...
Saboteurs, man. They're just...
Ooh. Yeah.
Yep, that pretty much sums it up.
Or this one.
Congratulations. You've killed a sentient being.
Okay. Moving on.
Hi, this is Frippy.
Frippy!
Hey, Frippy, we haven't heard from you in a while.
Hi, this is Frippy. I'm so glad you guys are back. I've had a hard summer, not because the dearth of episodes, but because I broke up with someone who was Omni. I was vegan. I was not vegan when we first started dating, but over 6 years there was some strain, and, I'm not going to say that it can't work, but maybe if you're not with a New Age omnivore who talks about how he wasn't totally New Age, but he was just so stubborn that he insisted that I didn't appreciate the sacrifice. And, like, there's no sacrifice in the sense that you're thinking of to appreciate. And I won't go into it, but we all know that the sacrifice's excuse is crap. And basically, you'll be amazed. You already are amazed at the things people will come up with when they know the facts, but they just don't want to change. And that's all, but I'm really glad you're back. And maybe I will pick up Dispatches from Hell now. I'm back on the veggie market again. So, all right, thanks. Bye.
Man. Well, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you.
Yeah.
But you know what I think of all this New Age stuff, don't you?
Tampering and dark-sided stuff!
I know. I love people who think that animals sacrifice their lives for us.
It's like they lay on the knife.
Kill me so I can nourish you.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
Please, human, take my life. Moo. What the fuck? People are so stupid.
Oh. Yeah,
God.
I can see how that would drive you nuts.
Yeah. You know, man. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Just a lot of those today.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, good luck on the vegan dating market there, Fripp.
Hey guys, my name's Aaron. I'm 17. I've been vegan for maybe I think 4 or 5 months now. Before that, I was vegetarian for maybe 6 months. And I really love the show. I just started listening to it. It's really good.
Thanks.
I'll be listening from now on. Well, basically, I have a little story. I think this was 2 days ago. I was eating lunch, and I was eating an apple, and one of the girls that sit at my table, she goes, "Oh, Aaron, do you really consider yourself a vegan?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And she goes, "Really?" Yeah, I'm a vegan. She says, "Well, I heard that it's not vegan if you eat an apple that's picked from a tree. I heard it has to naturally fall from the ground for you to eat it. So the apple you're eating isn't vegan, so that makes you not a vegan."
You should tell her that you might eat her because she's a vegetable.
I thought that was the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. But so I got really worked up and probably started yelling or something. I don't know. Not making a lot of sense. And I guess I was worked up. I didn't know what to say to her, how to counter that at all. Shut up! And so then my friends, they kind of agreed with her. They're like, yeah, I've heard that too. And yeah, I heard you're not a vegan if you have sex with someone who's also not vegan. And I don't know. I don't know what to say to like these stupid comments. I don't know if like other vegans consider them true as well. And I'm just wondering what your take on that is. So thanks a lot. Love your show. See you.
Hey, Aaron, I'm really sorry that you have to live with people like that.
Yeah, well, we agree with you that it is total fucking bullshit.
It is complete bullshit. I've had people say to me, ask me if I eat potatoes because they have eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Usually a good response to that is like, do you really believe that?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, really?
That is ridiculous. I mean, what reason would there be for waiting for an apple to fall to the ground before you ate it as a vegan?
I don't know. Because you might damage the apple tree. It might hurt when you pull off the apple. Because we all know that plants feel pain, right?
Yeah. Plants do feel pain. Yeah,
right.
Sure.
But of course, what they're trying to do is make veganism look ridiculous and look untenable and look just absolutely impossible to achieve because, this can't be vegan and that can't be vegan. And even if it's the most ridiculous thing that you've ever heard.
Sure.
Because they don't want to believe that anybody can actually live their life being a vegan. They don't want to believe it because if they believe it, then they have no reason to not do it.
Good point. I completely agree with you. But people have all kinds of weird misconceptions about vegans and, all these ridiculous ideas. And really when it comes down to it, being a vegan, We eat plants. I don't feel bad about it.
No.
They don't suffer.
No.
They're not sentient.
No.
They have no... I've never had a plant come over to me and try to get me to pet it. Have you?
No.
No.
And a plant's never screamed when I've picked it.
Yeah, I know. I stir fry broccoli very often, and it never just goes, bah!
Right.
Yeah, there's no easy way around the idiocy out there in the world, and unfortunately, you have to put up with it sometimes. It makes you want to hit people sometimes, but you got to hold back.
Deep breath.
Deep breath. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can ask them if they're really serious too. I mean, sometimes, are you fucking serious? Like, I do that sometimes when students ask me dumb questions. Like, are you really serious? Like, do you really mean that? Because someone's gonna be like, oh, like apple. Speaking of apples, right? In Vegan Freak, we talk about I talk about how a student of mine is like, do you like just eat apples? Like, it's like, are you really serious? Do you really mean that? Ah, God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Are we done?
I think that's all.
I think that's all we have, isn't it?
Yeah. See, so those three last voicemails definitely fit the "Meat Makes You Stupid."
They do indeed.
Segment.
They do indeed. No question about that. A couple quick things before we call it quits for this week. Number one, 5th emailer to give away at veganfreakradio.com. GIVEAWAY. If I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I'd play the give it away now. Giveaway at veganfreakradio.com. 5th emailer will get a free copy of Making a Killing, The Political Economy of Animal Rights, that excellent book written by yours truly. That's right. We're going to do that for a little. We'll do this week, and maybe we'll do another next week.
Okay.
A giveaway. Secondly, we want to ask you to remember to please put up nice reviews for us at the iTunes Music Store. If you enjoy the show, go leave us a review at the iTunes Music Store. It helps us get featured on the iTunes Music Store category page for our category, Health, where we are often featured, but like to continue to be featured.
Exactly.
Because it gets people into the show and listening.
Yes, and when we're at the top 10 on Podcast Alley, we show up on the front page as well. So
that gets people listening too. So podcastalley.com, go vote for us there as well. You can add us as a friend at MySpace. I'm actually checking it every so often now. MySpace.com/veganfreak. I put up bulletins when I put up new shows. You can get on our email list at veganfreakradio.com. You can leave us voicemails at 267-295-1944. You can email us at show@veganfreakradio.com. What else?
I think that's probably about it.
Come to our forums.
Yeah.
I'm falling out of the chair.
So
I'm all tangled up.
falling out of the chair.
Yes. And now I have to go outside and shake my fist at all the snowmobilers. Hey, you meddling snowmobilers! Fuck you! Fuck you! I'm going to be a great old man. I can't wait. I can't wait. Frickin' kids! Damn it! Fuckers! Rah! See you next week.
Bye.
You meddling kids!